Well, welcome back. You'll be pleased to know that round 2, stage 3 of the WTRL Zwift Racing League is a scratch race. You'll also be relieved to learn that I've switched to kilometres and metres, so hopefully you'll find these Recon videos more beneficial. To stage 3 then, we head to New York and the glass road of the mighty Metropolitan circuit. This is definitely a lumpy one. The course itself is 20.5 kilometres in length and 321 metres of elevation. I've split this course into 10 noticeable climbs, but the most significant is the New York KOM reverse, in the middle of the route. But also I'd recommend you study the descents, as the only power up available on this circuit is the Anvil. The Anvil itself as a power up will increase your weight on descents of more than 2%. So pair it with the Super Tuck to go extra fast with zero effort. The best bike of choice I'd recommend to you is the Pinarello Dogma F. Pair that with the DT Swiss disc wheel set and I believe you've got everything you need for the climbing and also for the aero gains on the descents. With no FTS or FAL points available in this scratch race, it's going to be the fastest through that line. So let's dive straight into this Recon video and I'll see you on the other side. So here we are then taking a left-hand turn out of the race pens to join this mighty Metropolitan circuit. Obviously this one has got the significant climb halfway through it, so it might be that this race starts off a little bit tamer than other flat races that we've been in. So as you can see on the screen, I've taken your feedback and I've switched my Zwift into kilometres and metres. So all my Recon videos now will be done in kilometres and metres of elevation. And what you'll find as well also down in the description box below this video is my course notes. So on the race day, you have a crib sheet that you can look at that gives you all the key climbs and the points within the race that I've identified during this Recon video. So hopefully that's helpful. I'd like to take on board your feedback, so if you have any comments on this video, please do drop them below. And whilst you're there, please do click that like button and click that subscribe button. So as we move on with this one, like I say today, 10 noticeable climbs, one significant one in the middle. But I think you need to make the most of these descents also. On this descent here, we're going to make a descent, and at the bottom of this one, we're going to take a right hand turn, which will take us through a glass tunnel to start climb 1. So as we exit the glass tunnel, we start the first climb of the day. Ramps to about 10-11% initially at the beginning, but overall this climb is 5.5% gradient over a 0.8 kilometre in length. Like most of these climbs today, they are fairly short and punchy climbs, which would last approximately no more than 3 minutes in length. All I would advise is position yourself well within the wheels and try and stay with the group that you're with. As you can see, as we approach the top of this climb, it does start to lose its gradient. From 7%, it's gradually dropping into the yellow part on the heads-up display, and it will take you into a nice descent where there'll be a chance for you to recover within the wheels and get your breath back before the next kicker. So climb 2 that we're approaching now is only 0.3 kilometres in length, with a 5.3 average gradient. If you can carry some momentum off of that descent, you'd probably be halfway up this climb before you know it. But it's got a 10-11% kick in the middle of it before it flattens out again. So we're 5 kilometers in now, and this is a chance for you to get a little bit of respite in the wheels. Take the opportunity on this descent to try and get some fluids on board, maybe a gel or something, and prepare yourself for the next part of this race. So this is the start of climb 3, 7% overall gradient, but a 0.2 kilometer in length. Again, starts off 6-7%, but does build to 12-13% towards the top. But once you reach the top and you take the left-hand turn, you've got a nice descent here. Obviously, if you've picked up your power up, your Anvil at this stage, be mindful of where you use it and make the most of that power up. So you've made the most of that descent, carry your speed through and take this left-hand turn up onto the glass road as we're about to start the New York KOM reverse. This is climb 4, 8.3% average gradient over 0.3 of a kilometre. Just need to push hard on the pedals towards the top of this climb as it does reach 13% gradient at points. But you will get a short little respite as we take this right hand turn here and make our way towards climb 5. So here we go, then the start of climb 5. Not had long to recover following the first part of this KOM reverse, and now we're on to the second part of it. This is the most significant climb on the course for me. It's 5.9% gradient over 1.1 kilometers in length, and this is the one that ramps up to 14-15% towards the end. So just consider this effort, manage it well, and just dig deep until the end. This middle section here at about 9.7 kilometers into the race ramps out at 10% gradient here. Get those legs spinning, stay with the pack and hold on. There is going to be a slight bit of respite as we come over the top of this one, but before it kicks in again. So this is the final push now. reaching 14–15% as we reach the top of this climb. As you can see in the map on the right hand side, the KOM Banner is just over the brow of this hill. Dig deep, put everything you've got here, and remember the descent is your chance to use your power up, get that aero tuck and try and recover before we move on to the final 10 kilometers of this race. Over the top of this KOM, don't ease off. Attack the top of this descent and then get that super tuck. Use your Anvil power up if you can, as we hit stages of this at 14–15% downhill. Make the most of this to recover. You can see that I'm making the most of this in this Recon. I've got the aero tuck. I'm doing very little work for 60 kilometers an hour. As we hit the bottom of this descent, we're going to hit climb 6. It's just rolling terrain, but it's one that I wanted to put in so that you stay alert and are switched on to this one. It's 2.2% gradient overall, but it's 0.9 kilometers in length. It's just one to be mindful as you've had that chance to recover coming down the descent, that you're switched on to this one and nothing gets away from you. So this one here I've put in is climb 7. It's 3.7% gradient over 0.4 of a kilometre, but it's got 7% kicks in it. It is rolling, it is a bit up and down, but again, it's one that somebody might attack on, they might try and get away from, because it's a short climb with a nice descent afterwards. So it might be where an attack goes with less than 6 kilometres to go. So here, 15 kilometres into the race, it's the final descent from the glass road. As we come down this one and take that tunnel, just be mindful the right hand turn as we exit it is going to be straight into climb number 8. This is a short little kicker of 0.1 kilometres in length and ramps up to 10% towards the top. It's a little kick right after you've had that descent, so it's just be mindful to carry your momentum off of that final descent off the glass road to carry yourself into that one with as much speed as possible. And this is the start of climb 9, 2.8% gradient overall, just over half a kilometre in length. Sort of around the 4–5% gradient throughout in parts, but it's again people are getting their race strategies in place. With 4 kilometers to go in this race, people might make an attack on this to try and get away before that final descent, and we move on to the final climb of the day. The closing sort of 3 kilometers of this race is just rolling terrain. No real key points to be aware of. They just seem to be the odd little rise. So it's just being mindful, watching what's around you, watching what's moving. Because some of these little kicks might just take somebody by surprise if you're not watching out what's happening around you as people move to get the positioning right for that final climb and the sprint to the line. This bridge here is key for me. This is where I'll be thinking about my finishing strategies. We're about to take a left-hand turn, which is going to take us in towards the finish line. So this is climb 10, 4% gradient over 1.4 kilometers in length, which will take us to the finish line as we turn this left-hand corner. The banner's ahead of you. With 500 meters to go, it's a 9% gradient to finish, and it's a final push to that line. Can you bring the result home for your team?
Well, there you have it. Hopefully I've given you everything you need to know about stage 3 of the WTRL Zwift Racing League, and hopefully you'll take on board my key points in this video and go on and take that win for your team. Best of luck.